I wanted this one to be fine for me, but I just made it. Where I come from, we say, in my Adnamatna sisters and aunties, we all look the same. We say we're short, plump and deadly. Oh yeah, look like that too. So I just pay my respects to the traditional custodians of this place, just to honour, respect the land for all it has provided, all of our lifetimes, past, present. You know, we need to acknowledge that we're here for the land, because we are the land, and the land is us. And so I speak to you today for the land. That's what this is all about. It's for our children. That's what this is about, our children are part of the land. How we have the generations come and go. And so it is that it's my privilege to be here to talk on this country, which I haven't been on before. It's a feeling of unity. That's what I'd like to put forward. For us to walk together in unity. So I'm just wondering where to begin and where to end, but I'll just dive right in. So the videos that I have put out, you know, I had no idea it was going to get the response it did. I've got like several videos, it's got at least 85,000 hits in a month. I thought, what? It was just incredible. And the amount of talks that I've done since then and other podcasts, it's been my privilege to pass it around. And, you know, really for people to be ready to hear. Be ready to hear the messages. And I just love it that we're all here together because we want to see the right thing. We want to work the right way. We want to walk together. First of all, I want to tell the first fellow, well done on the corporation. On the Constitution, that's really hard to get all that stuff. There's a couple of things missing. Yeah. But I don't know if you know that Queen Victoria died and didn't sign the Constitution. You do know that? By the way. How legal is our Constitution? Even that was hidden. So where to pick up? The government is a corporation. I think we've pretty much said that straightforward. Our beautiful brother earlier has mentioned where it really sits. There are two constitutions. The original one has gone into the cupboard, and the current one has turned everything over to a corporation. Okay, now a corporation cannot be sovereign, by the way. And a corporation cannot trade with individuals. A corporation can only trade with a corporation. So they've gone about incorporating our people by setting up the land councils, as an example, setting up other businesses, setting up a corporate structure, governance, so that they can trade. Corporations actually trade with a dead entity. Anyway, that's what it is. A few of you will know that. And so they basically make us dead by bringing us into a corporate structure. That's not how we live, and it's not how we govern, it's not how we consult with each other in a traditional way. Traditionally, you know, we're very circular. We would make sure we consult with all our people and that everyone has a say, because then it's the right decision. And those that have the final decision would be the elders of that group, who, in their wisdom, would have heard all of the yes, no, maybes in between. But when they make their decision for the tribe, they make that with, you know, at least 7 generations ahead in mind. Okay? They don't make the decision for today and tomorrow. They say, well, how will this decision affect our people in 7 generations' time? Now, we've had the British come in, and I've worked it out, it's been about 7 generations, actually. Where we all stand here now together, it's been 7 generations. generations of this change. So we are the beginning of the next 7 generations, folks, all of you. We've got to work together because we must be together and unified for this to go, for all of us to thrive. So I'm going to just explain, and I want to leave a lot of room for questions because that's the best way I can respond. But just to put it in context, so we'll go back to the government. What is the government? The government is, as we said, it's a corporation. So what is a corporation? A corporation is run by a board of directors. And those board of directors are selected. Some, depending on the corporation, there might be some election. So our board of directors that we're talking about are the politicians. Right? Some might get elected, a lot of them get selected, unbeknownst to us. So I think we're waking up more that there's some rigging that goes on with the elections. Who would have thought? And so as the directors of the corporation, they've declared that their board, when they come together, is sovereign. A corporation cannot be sovereign over the land. It can't be sovereign over the people either. It can only be within its corporation as sovereign. They call it the parliament. So when we talk about sovereign, it's not an English, well, it's an English word, but it's a trickery. It's not a word that we would use. We would say we're boss of self. Right? That's how we say it. Right? We're boss of self. My people would have said, we're not Australian. They said, we're Adnyamatna, or we're a bunch of them, or what's the local Gurungai? Gurungai. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, I'm Gurungai. That's what they would have said. That is what it meant to be sovereign. Okay? It wasn't about being under a corporate structure at all. And to be boss of self means that you have your autonomy to make decisions for your life. That's what it means. And so we've had our people have had a lot of, and all of us have had a lot of rules and regulations put over us and stopped us from being free, which is really unacceptable. They've taken away our sovereign rights, but that's because we came under this veil of the corporation. I don't get too confused with that, so I'll just keep it there. But the Parliament, they say they are sovereign. They're sovereign within their structure, which is a corporation. We, however, over here, say, well, no, we don't want to be part of that. Why would we want to be part of that? You just keep telling us what to do and what not to do. We want our freedom and to be boss of self. That's here. And we have our own tribal law, our own way of doing things, our own governance. It may not look pretty with some of our people who are really suffering out there. And then we've got the opposite with what we'll say the corporate blacks, those who are doing very well within a corporation and are not actually helping our people who are out in the tribal lands. So we have a division within our own culture, our own tribal people. We want to repair that. But the way to do it is to get you mob to walk with us. There's only a small number of us. I mean, how would people feel if someone from another culture was making a decision for you? I don't think you'd like it very well. That's how we feel. We're like, this is our business. Stay out of it. Leave us to our business. We're starting to form our tribal councils again, because that was taken away. Land councils is a corporation set up by the corporation. It's to manipulate the country that they are looking out for. Well, they're not really, a lot of them are selling our country. They get money for that. Follow the money. Speaking of which, I got asked to, well, I got called in by at the Freedom Movement, and they said, Arnie, we need your help. Apparently we can't have any signs that says vote no unless there's an authorisation. This is true. And so, yeah. So here we have, and it was said earlier, if you vote, all of the organisations saying vote yes have all been paid $15,000 to do that. If you didn't know that, there you go. And they don't have to report it. So what came through from the Electoral Commission, whatever they are, AEC, is that for anyone that's advertising the no, first of all you had to declare, are you getting money for that? And is that money $15,200 or more? You see what's happened just there, just on that first point? So the government have been paying everybody else $15,000, they don't have to get worried about any authorisation, not required. But if you get $15,200 plus, then you've got to declare it. So these people weren't getting anything. I said, no worries. They said, so then the second thing is there has to be an authorisation on all of the material. And authorise if you're getting and a declaration, and if you're not getting any money for the advertising, you still have to be authorised. I said, put my hand up, you go, I'll authorise it. So I have. There are some stickers, there might be some left on the table there of some of them, but we've now put out more in the stickers. We're actually saying, and I'm coming to this next point, thanks, Laurie. I'm coming to the next point, which is, what if you voted yes? What would happen? What would happen is the corporate takeover of all of our land will happen. I'm going to give you an example of what's happening now. In Victoria. So in Victoria, you may know or you may not know, there's already been some work there about getting a treaty. By the way, a corporation can't treaty with people. They need another corporation. So that's the other reason they're trying to incorporate us, to get a treaty a la an agreement that's going to get over the line on behalf of the government, not us, not you, but them. So this is what's happening in Victoria. They've actually started this process, and they have now, the government have now digitised all of the land titles, all of them. And the next bit is, have they? I don't know about if this is happening in New South Wales, but I can tell you it's happening in Victoria. They've now sold all of those land titles to a private company in New York. And it acts like a lien. So the government get money for the land. If you apply that across the whole of Australia, are you starting to see what the picture is that we know? And then if I add more to that and say to you that the government is actually bankrupt, you can see why they are absolutely desperate. It's desperate times for them. If this doesn't get over the line, it all crumbles. Hallelujah, will that be that day? So, if any of you think that this isn't about you, you've got another thing coming. It's in disguise. By the way, I've had nobody from government, nobody challenge anything I've said. They tried to. They paid the RMIT University to try and counter what I've said. Within days of my first broadcast, I couldn't believe it. I thought, whoa, they really worry. And only to find that the RMIT have actually bribed and have been found out telling lies. And their associated entities won't have anything to do with it. Nobody can counter what I've said. This is true. And because I hold both law, the LAW, and law, LORE, it's a pretty strong position to be in. They can't have a go at me. So I'm representing all of you, mob, and walking with you and saying, you know what, we're going to stop this takeover. And we are the ones that are standing in the way, because apart from the Russians, we are the only people, the original people, who have not made a treaty with the corporate government, with the colonial government that has since come in. We're the only ones, and therefore they can't do it worldwide yet while we're standing in the way. Now, I may have just jumped the gun a bit too much. I don't know what I just said. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but anyway, I'm on a roll. I hope you're with me.
Yeah.
So, a yes vote puts our first people onto the corporate charter. That corporation, the constitution, that what they call in the constitution, which corporations have constitutions, is actually like the rules to the corporation. It's not the original constitution. So, by putting us on that charter, we lose our voice, actually. Isn't it interesting? We lose our voice. They will not have to. If we said, no, you can't do that, you can't sell off all of New South Wales, and the only way to get us to force us to contract is to make us come, write us onto that, in that, their corporate charter, a la constitution. So I've actually got some good news for you and for all of us, and that good news is I'm part of they're a deadly legal mind, let me tell you. I'm just part of it. I'm learning a lot. We are this close to setting up a registry for all living men and living women. So you do not have to contract with the corporation at all. And on that living register, you register. There'll be a seal. I've already developed the seal. Some of you have seen the seal, the grandmother's seal. There are the seals that'll be part of it. The register is designed for all of us to, what's the alternative? Get out of it. To get out of it, we just got to completely go this way, and we just say, we declare, I am a living woman. We're a living man. Register that. I'm registering my assets on it. You can't touch it. Car, it's coming. I'll send it. It's this close. We haven't quite. We've got we're this close. We're just not before the referendum, but something else we've got ready between now and the referendum. There's other things in the wings. Sometimes you can't tell, you can't put it out there because they'll find a way to stop it. So there are some other things in the pipeline. Nevertheless, and I'll come to that Dr. Bray or Bay, whatever his name is, he actually hasn't filled in a Form 31. In other words, it hasn't yet been lodged properly in the High Court. It's a furphy. He hasn't done anything. So those who've believed him, sorry, we all wanted to believe it. I think we all jumped on that bandwagon and it took off. And I did what I could to try and scramble back and say, no, that's not what's happened. And so tomorrow evening I'm on a show with him to try and talk him out of that story. Yeah. He didn't even lodge, in a high court, it's not like a magistrate court. In a magistrate court, you go in and you can file an action. You can't do that in the High Court. Everyone, no matter who you are, has to get permission or leave of the court from a High Court justice to say this matter is a matter that we can look at. But it's specific about what they can look at. You've got to put that in first. He hasn't done that. He's not the only one that has not got permission in the past. I don't think they've developed a stamp just for him. And the stamp says you've got to get leave of the court to have it properly heard. I think he would if he does it the right way. He hasn't done anything.
How do you get leave?
You've got to apply to the court. You've got to put it on the correct application, correct form. There's a correct procedure. Just like our mob, we have protocols, right? You've got protocols. You don't just go straight to an elder who has authority to make decisions on behalf of a tribe without going through protocols. Same thing. Let's get our facts right, and that way we know that we can stand on the facts. The grandmothers say, anything not based in truth now will crumble. Watch this space, it's crumbling. Just a bit about, back to the voice, who's behind the voice? And I have got this on my website, under Proclamation of Sovereignty, which in Tribal Council we came up with that middle of last year in Alice. You will find a link to 1973 Constitution. And in that link, you'll find a ton of resources, because people were asking me, they couldn't find any information about the 1973 changes, couldn't find any information about the Uluru Statement being a furphy, they couldn't find any information, blah, 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 blah. So I said, I put a page together. And so do go to there if you're looking for more information.
I want to ask, what Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander corporation would they be contracting with?
Yes, they're contracting with the government.
What corporations would they, like the Land Council, what other corporations would they be contracting with other than?
They're contracting with corporations, they're not contracting.
Which one? Do you know which one?
Oh, it depends. Like I know the corporation of my country, which is now under special administration, have been contracting with mining companies. They've been contracting with the government. They've been contracting with other Indigenous or Aboriginal or Original, whatever they call themselves, other corporations.
So it would just be part of a pyramid system?
Correct.
So that would go against what we believe in?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not our governance at all.
Yeah.
And it has hurt our people. It has actually caused a great deal of division and community hardship. And I was a whistleblower for my corporation, only to find now, we've got them in the Supreme Court in the challenge, that we have to get ready for this. We're looking for $60 million. Now the corporation has somehow siphoned off. And yet I've got elders that ring me and say, I haven't got enough money to food for the week. Can you help me? Like that should never be happening. So that's just an example. We needed help to get that underway. I got a law degree. That's how I helped them. So there's a whole lot more behind that, but I'll just leave it there. But that's hopefully a bit of, they're all, it's happening everywhere. Our corporations are siphoning money off usually to their family and not to the people, pretty much in the main. So we don't want the land councils. The tribal elders and those who hold our law, LORE, we're saying no. You're not doing it right way, you're not treating our people correctly, and you're selling off our country. In other words, harming them, you're breaking our song lines. I'm on a roll there, hang on, I'll just pull myself back. Woo! Okay, let's go back to who came up with the idea of the voice. That's where I was going with this. Folks, there's only 5 people who wrote the Uluru Statement. 5 people. That wasn't written by the numbers that they're talking about. And I've got a picture on there. Oh yeah, actually keep scrolling. Can you do that? Are you live? You keep scrolling, keep scrolling. He's the guy that, stop there, he's the guy that invented it, the idea of the voice, a Jewish Australian, fair banker, high degree lobbyist with the Commonwealth government.
What else?
It's his idea. Keep going.
Bringing all of these muppets.
Yeah, Mark Lieber, you can keep going. Keep going. I want to show a picture of you all. Oh, that's me. Didn't want me. Keep going. Sorry. It'll come up with the Uluru. Yeah, who's really behind the voice? There you go. Those who have the, what's that again? Communist Party, the Chinese mob behind them, and those who have the Jewish mob behind them. I'm not against Jews. It's just that particular banker arrangement. Keep going. It's the next photo. Looky. Stop.
Who are these?
Look, they're signing a blank document.
Yeah.
They're contracting a blank document.
How much did they get paid?
Exactly. Follow the money. Money. Oh, thank you. That's what I wanted to show you.
What a muppet.
That is the Uluru Statement, supposedly written by all these people, they sign the outside. No, they don't know what they're signing. And so we've had elders who, on their own finances, went to that convention and were told to shut up, so much for their voice, shut up and get out. They didn't agree with the corporation line and were told they couldn't speak. So much for us giving us a voice. Not true. And then there were others who were paid to go. They travelled up from Adelaide, and they went up to Alice for the convention, and then they said afterwards they had no idea that this was going to happen, and they feel really shamed now because they weren't told the truth about what was going to happen. They were just there as a number.
Stupid.
It really didn't happen the way we've been told.
Now, this young man that's been touted, is it Marlowe?
Right, Mayo. He's not an Aboriginal man.
That's right, yeah.
Is he? I think he's Pakistani. Is it? Filipino? Yeah, Thomas Mayo. His actual real name is Major. Last name, Major.
Mayo's an Irish surname.
Oh, is it?
No, it actually came from. It actually
Yeah.
came from me.
Oh, he dropped the R anyway. So, yeah, he's not one of us. He cannot speak for us. And that's the other thing too, is we have something like 250 nations. Oh, even that word is sort of been taken from the American. We have 250 tribes in this country at least. You can't be saying that, the corporate government can speak for all of us. No, and never ever have we been able to speak for other tribes. We respect that tribe's governance, always. And it's always we have the principles of caring and sharing, not take the whole lot for yourself. That's not our way. Our way is to welcome people in, adopt people. So one of the groups up north that I'm in contact with, what they're doing, they've reinstated their tribal council, and they're now meeting with the local council people, not the government local council, but the local people who are forming their own group, their own council, and they're treating with them. That's fine. That's entirely up to them. But the people who live in their area, the treaty with them, with the original mob. And the original mob are calling them new, whatever their mob name is, so new Murrays. We have the Murrays in Queensland. It could be new, new Bunjalung, whatever the group is that you are, new Wiradjuri. But they're doing, and look, it's fantastic. It's bringing in people together. There's so many people who've contacted me. I've had hundreds of people contact me about the issue of how can we help? We want to walk with you. How can that happen? Well, that's happening, and that's a wonderful model. And that way, everybody looks after country, and those who are the new mob coming in to join the original mob, they can learn something about our culture, they can learn our language, and learn what's really important about taking care of country. The land. This is all about the land. The lands, when I say land, I'm talking about, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, the waterways, the sky, deep into the earth, everything. How do we look after country? Because we are country. It's us. And so, I hope that helps with you thinking what's going to happen from here on. Anything else that I didn't say? I did say that the government's bankrupted and so selling off country, they'd love to sell off the whole of Australia, and then the New World Order would take over. That's the big picture, and that's what this is. Yes, so the Living Register will give you an opportunity to. Everyone could become part of the Living Register. Hallelujah. I'm working with some really smart people, I tell you. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.